Verse 34, Ulladhu naarpadhu, supplement to 40 verses on reality given to us by Sri Ramana Maharshi. மக்கள் மனைவி முதல் மற்றவர்கள் அற்பபதி மக்கட்கு ஒரு குடும்பமானவே மிக்க கல்வி உள்ளவர்தம் உள்ளத்தே ஒன்றல பன்னூல் குடும்பம் உள்ளது யோகத்தடையாய் ஓர். This verse talks about sticking to one particular discipline in spiritual pursuit. He says the way for a normal ordinary human being, how a family itself is bondage, my wife, my children, my husband, my children, my relatives, and so on. This is bondage. The way this bondage happens with an ordinary human being, for a person who studies too much, too many disciplines, he says there is not one family of bondage for him, for this person who reads too much without being able to make a choice as to what is the best path, what is the highest path. If he is unable to make a choice, for him, those books form, he says, many families of bondage. Say, for example, when we study Advaita Vedanta, we also necessarily study the Dvaitic, the dualistic literature. Even with Ramana Maharshi's teachings, if we study all his verses, a portion is there which talks about Sri Bhagavan's devotion to the hill Arunachala. But we are not here to dismiss the bhakti route or dualistic route, because Sri Bhagavan says bhakti is jnana mata. He says devotion is the mother of jnana. It looks like it is a psychological ladder of 4 steps, 4 rungs. Karma Yoga, selfless action, and then Raja Yoga is taught by Patanjali, which is meditation and breath control, and devotion. Devotion forms the major portion of spiritual literature. In Tamil especially, the language in which I have grown up, there are tons and tons of dualistic literature. The literature of devotion. So it all depends on, clearly, as Bhagavan has translated one of the verses from Bhagavad Gita, he says, அவரவர் தன்மைக்கு அடுத்தபடியே எவர்க்கும் சிரத்தை எழும் கான். Your shraddha, your faith, your effort to pursue spirituality springs from your own nature, your own core nature, svabhavam, which of course comes from your pursuit in previous births. There is no mystery. As Sri Bhagavan said, if somebody has overnight realized his true nature, know that he has done his homework in the previous birth. So there is no mystery. It's all a cause and effect phenomenon only. You sow a seed, you get the tree. As simple as that. Similarly, even with the spiritual pursuit, we must have been pursuing either duality or non-duality in our previous births. And that determines the tendency to pursue the particular path. In 1990, I wanted to write an exam. It was in a town called Aruppukkottai in Tamil Nadu. And I was wondering, I was talking to my father. I said, Appa, I have to go there and write an exam. Where do I stay? He said, Aruppukkottai, just near 10 kilometers away from Aruppukkottai, your uncle lives there. Why don't you go and stay with him? I went and stayed. That place is called Trichuli, 30 years ago. And I wrote the exam and I came off. After 30 years, after I started studying Sri Ramana Maharshi, I came to know that it is his birthplace. So, and now I studied English literature. I didn't have much of liking for Tamil verses, but somehow Sri Bhagavan made me memorize all the verses, about 550 verses. In the last 2 years, he made me mug up. I am not saying I did. I was made to do. I look at it as, samskara. vasanas, tendency born out of previous birth memories. Maybe I and my friend Ravi is there in America. He only introduced me way back 35 years ago that there is one Ramana Maharshi. After that, it all started. So, it looks like memory is continuing. As Krishna says in the Gita, you are activated or actuated by your own predisposition, samskaras. Now, coming to the choice of path, it all depends on your psychological state. If bhakti is what you need, if you want to do worship on a daily basis, I don't think you can transcend it overnight. We need to just continue with it. Because all the paths, their end result is the subsidence of ego. The I am this person thought. I am big, I am great, I am well educated, I am accomplished, I am rich, and so on. Because Bhagavan says, Agandai undayin anaitum undagum, Agandai endrel indru anaitum. If ego rises, everything is there in your experience. He doesn't say that the universe already exists, your body already exists, and if ego rises, you will experience it. You will experience that. He is not saying that. He says the mind itself, the ego itself projects the entire phenomenon of body, world, and universe, and it just withdraws it. So on the subsidence of ego, he says there is nothing. Nothing, like how Buddha said, nirvana? No. Paul Andrew, he says, it is not a dry land, it's not a wasteland. What? Your ultimate nature. What is it then? It is formless, infinite, Satchit Anandam. We will experience ourselves to be one entity. Within quote, entity, it's not physical again. It is that which reveals through this upadhi, through this add-on, adjunct, through this gadget, it reveals the whole existence. Atma is just the revealer. Because of it, your body happens, my body happens. Because of it, the entire physical order called the universe happens. Sri Bhagavan says there is no such thing as the physical universe at all. Then what is it? He says it is an extended self. So he says if you want to study the universe, you need to study your own self. Ultimately, it is a simple drama. Of course, only in the last 4 years of study, my understanding has, become keener that taking birth itself is a mistake, he says. Because aduve sananam adaindadan peram, he says. The very purpose of having taken this birth is to work towards liberation from the cycle of birth and death, he says. Because whichever life form you take, from a moth to an earthworm to a bird to animal to man, he says, bliss is not guaranteed. It's a mixture of a little pleasure and pain. And ultimately, he says, Bhagavan says, birth itself is pain. So he says, inevitably, all of us are pursuing the bliss of Brahman through the body-mind phenomenon, through external objects, through other human bodies. He says, why don't you go and directly enjoy your own bliss nature? Why do you want to step down and get into this roller coaster? That's what he says. This is the perspective. So, when it comes to choice of path, we need to be doing reasoning. Advaita Vedanta is the topmost rung of the ladder. It says you alone are, which means not as an individual, Ramesh, Suresh. No. Within you, the Andaryami, the indweller, which is Brahman, which is always there. Right now it is here. With you and with me, right now it is here. And it is shining forth all the time. But in between, a veil comes. Assuming this is Brahman, a veil comes. Now you are not experiencing Brahman because a veil is there. I am the body veil. Slowly, if you do vicharam, the veil is removed. Then our true nature is revealed. That's all. Who will reveal it? Mind, body, intellect? No. It is self-revealed. Swaprakasham. So this is a gradual process. Now, when it comes to this verse, we should be very clear as to what our choice is. There is nothing wrong. If karma is your path, selfless action, fine. If yoga is your path, fine. Devotion is your path, fine. Or Advaita Vedanta, but any path, we need to pursue it with 100% devotion. And if it is Advaita Vedanta, devotion to the Guru. Guru is the self. He says in one place, Guru is the self, Guru is God, everything. He says he'll help you. From inside, he'll pull your ego inside. From outside, he'll push the ego inside. Guru. Guru is like the lion. He says an elephant will not be scared of anybody else, but he is scared of the lion. Even in a dream, if a lion appears, the elephant will, shiver. So it is Guru's devotion to Guru and study of what Guru says and reasoning out. Why is he saying that? Bhagavan concluded at his age 69, he wrote Ekatma Panchagam. He said, Yappodum Ulladhu Avekanma Astuve. 5 verses he wrote. In those 5 verses, there is no mention of Arunachala. There is no mention of devotion. He says, whatever exists is one Atma. This is the conclusion of Rishis. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. But this pursuit doesn't happen overnight, doesn't bear fruit overnight. It takes time. That's what I really understood. He has himself said, slowly, Arunachala, you revealed your true nature to me slowly. So, we can study. There is nothing wrong in studying because intellectual understanding is needed of the subject, of the spiritual subjects. Bhagavan himself says. But we should go on progressively, reducing and removing whatever is not helpful. Whatever we think is the highest that suits our nature, we should pursue. It has taken a number of lifetimes. It is no imagination. Bhagavan himself says, Ennil Piravi Eduthu, having taken n number of births. Because life is not all about just one birth. If we believe that, it's up to you. Because your tendencies, your basic tendencies towards either bhakti or jnana, where is it born from? What is the basis? In terms of memory, we are unable to go back to the previous births. But Vasana's tendencies, the particular tendency, why are you different from me? Why am I different from her? Why is she different from him? When you seek for an answer to these questions, we will come to know that we have a load of previous birth memories, and if it is dominant, it will push you in that direction. So there is nothing wrong in studying everything, but finally we should be able to collate and then come to an understanding, this is the highest and this is what suits my nature. Let them pursue whatever they want. Let him pursue whatever he wants. What is it that I want to pursue and why? This clarity will, get us from the quagmire of too much of study, and we'll be able to stick to one particular discipline. Over a period of time, as Bhagavan says, with the protracted practice, we will attain to our own true nature, or our own true nature will reveal itself. Let us think.